So I saw a video yesterday about Killian Murphy. He was talking about the process he goes through when he's working on a movie and sort of the trouble he has transitioning back into everyday life after he's been in an acting role. And what he said resonated with me. It's exactly how I feel. I've been going through the same experience for a long time. And there's another video of this other guy. I don't know who he was, and he said something similar. So this other guy was saying that the most intelligent creatives, the ones that are really remarkable, that people get frustrated with them because they procrastinate. So the ones that aren't talented, for instance, you give them a task or an assignment, they just start it straight away. They'll just get on with it. It won't be great, but they'll put an effort in it and they'll try. The great ones, they don't. They don't commit to writing straight away. They'll procrastinate. They'll sort of like there'll be time wasted. It will seem like it's time wasted, and there'll be a frustration they haven't even started anything. But then epiphany comes to them, so they're sort of waiting for that spark of magic to just inspire them, and then boom, an idea will come. What he compared it to was there's like this waterfall or this river, and most people just trying to create something around it or something. This guy built the house over the waterfall, so he integrated the waterfall into the into the plans. And that was only through the fact that he took longer to start the thought process, and he's sort of like working the ideas out first rather than commit to the first idea that comes to your head. So that's quite interesting because that's how I am. I've been talking for ages about my next book's coming out. I can see it being finished here. I haven't even been working on it. I worked on it a little bit in January, and maybe the beginning of February, the first few days of February. I don't know. I haven't even been working on it, and yet it will come out soon. And I have no doubt about it. It's just the way it is. So people might see he's been working on this for like maybe I can do a book in 3 months, but it's hardly ever 3 months of just working. Usually it's like there's intense periods, and then there's periods when I just back off, and then I go back and enjoy it again, and it's like that's how I am. So it's like back and forth. It's like this. And that's kind of what they were saying. And I thought that's a nice, like a little validation in a way to say that other people do things similar too. Yeah, there's this like, if you're not seeing it if you don't get to see how it gets done, you'd be surprised how it gets done. But what Killian Murphy was saying was absolutely right. When I wrote my first book, A Father's Daughter, you start in it and you're excited, but it seems so far off. There's so many stages to this. It's actually quite emotional when you're going through that whole journey. The first part is like, oh, I'm starting something now. The first page is hard because it's like a blank canvas. The whole thing's nothing. You start writing and you get a bit more like, as you get, maybe I think the first few chapters, it's like, wow, I'm creating something now. Maybe you get a third of the way through the book, even a quarter. You could say half, but I think it's before then. You will hit potential writer's block. You'll reach a point where you feel lost, frustrated. It's too far to go. I don't really know if this is good enough. You start questioning things and you start to feel a bit resentful. Then you sort of give up a little bit. And when I say a little bit, you might stop a bit. Then you get past that and you start to get some momentum, and you get, like, now I've got past the block. Now I'm moving forward. Now it's starting to progress, and I like where we're going with this. So then it becomes this, you get to a certain point, I think when you've got like a quarter of the book left. So let's say I write a book and it's 60,000 words, for instance. It can be a little bit more. It can be more, slightly less, but around about 60,000. So let's say you get to about 38,000 words. You're like, oh my God, I'm so close. It's like, it's not that, it's so close, but so far. So then you're sort of like really focused on trying to get this task done. So you get it, you finally push on and push on and push on, and you get excited because now all you do want to do is get this thing done. You want it out of the way. So I say it's this emotional journey where 1 minute you're enjoying it, the next minute you're just forcing yourself to fulfill it, and the other side is just like get it done, get to the top of your mountain. It's effectively you're just trying to run up the mountain now at the end. The trouble is we exert so much energy and there's so much goes into it. It is that emotional journey. It's like it took us to hell and back in a way. So then you finish this book and then you release it, but there's this real huge wave of emptiness after. It's strange. It's like all that energy that was exerted into it. You've put every part of you into this, but now you've got this energy you don't know what to do with, and it's like you just feel empty. Honestly, I think it's the closest you can get to sort of losing yourself, if you like, to like there's no point worth living sort of thing, because it's like I've reached and that's why it's really important that people always have goals, I think, because that's where you see people drop off. For instance, you see it a lot with celebrities, for instance. Maybe they reach the top of their mountain, they do a movie, but you don't see them in any more movies, but you see them addicted to things because they reached the top of their mountain, but they didn't have sort of the ambition to keep elevating, keep pushing on to that next project, that next project, that next project. Because that's what you always have to have in mind, because then it keeps that creative energy going. So you've got more ambitions to go for. Nothing's ever sort of stagnant. But once you reach the top of a mountain, if you just can't even inspire yourself to sort of go after more and achieve more, you will lose yourself. You will, because you've reached, effectively, you've got a life goal. Let's say you've got a big life goal and you reach that life goal. What do you do then? Life, it can be meaningless. It really can. Even if you gained wealth from it and you started buying a fancy car and your fancy house and then you bought all this fancy stuff, if there's no grounding to it, it's all just becomes a spending game, and then what more can you buy, and you can see that's how people lose themselves. That's why some celebrities will say money isn't the cure. Everyone wants to be famous, everyone wants to have money, but that's not the answer, and it's not. I can understand that. It's easy for someone to say it that's got it, but I get it. If you're not grounded and in a place where you can control it and understand it and use it to uplift yourself rather than it having the money controls you, then yeah, it's an absolute waste of time, isn't it? It's just frivolous. You just won't know what you're doing. But yeah, it's just interesting to see people that are top of their craft, talking about how it affects them too, and that's what it's like for me. But now I'm quite fortunate. I've got 4 books in development at the moment I spoke about in the past. I've got my audio books to record. I'm doing my videos here. I've still got to update my website. There's always things to do. Like I said at the beginning, I want to travel an awful lot more. I really do want to explore the world. I want to start enjoying life, being more free, liberated, if you like. So now it's no longer a case of like being lost after a project, because I already foresee it. I know how it's going to be when that's finished. Unless I've got something to focus on, I will feel lost and empty after. It's going to happen. Now I know it won't happen because I've got too much to focus on. As soon as that's done, I've got another thing to think about. And I think that's good for the mind, to have these things really. But it's also understanding that it's not your thought processes and how you achieve something is unique to you as well. It's like you don't have to feel the pressure to perform all the time. You might have the best of intention to do something, and then that day you just don't feel it. And it's like, through experience, because I've done all my books now, I know how to do a book. I got books. I know how to complete the task. They're not small books. They're good books. I know how to fulfill them. So if anyone was watching on and saying, no, you need to focus now, I'd be like, leave me alone. I know how to fulfill this. I don't need someone from the outside coming in telling me how to do this, but I already know what I'm doing to fulfill it. Someone nagging you just puts pressure on you. It's unnecessary. I know if I had a month, for instance, and it was like a week where I wasted time, it looked like he was absolutely lost now. He's never going to get back to it. Oh no, I'll be back to it. Sometimes it's just like a bit of a release. So maybe I just like binge video games, or I just watch TV, or I'm listening to music, or whatever. For me, it's downtime. And then there's the time when I really push hard, and that's when I get a lot done. And I witnessed this. Some people struggle to write 300 words. They just struggle to write 300 words. I can write 1,000 in a sitting when I'm just sitting. But sometimes I can even do up to 5,000 words in a day. I mean, it's extreme, but I can do it. It depends on that level of focus and when I'm attentive to it, But again, if you put it into practical sense, a book, let's say, typically 60,000 words. Obviously, it's not 100% a given; it can go up and down. But overall, let's say it's 60,000 words. You've done 5,000 words. You're already making progress. You do that twice, you've got 10,000 words. You ain't got long left to do a book. I'm not going to do the maths on it, but let's say it's 5. I think you've got 12 sessions of 5,000. I think something like that. 12 sessions of 5,000 words is a book. So literally, you could do it in 5 days. 12 days if you was doing it at that level, which is a bit insane. You wouldn't. But I think that just shows that a book can actually be done in a month if you was focused strong enough. So you don't have to sort of punish yourself. But I think there's this level of procrastination where you don't achieve something, though. Some ups and downs. But yeah, I just think it's really important that we do have passion projects. We have fulfillment in our lives, something to sort of like strive for. And it's that level of stagnation, though, when people don't have goals to aspire for, I think is where they lose themselves. They don't know what they want in life. They don't know who they are because they haven't found something they truly enjoy.